A very good morning to you and welcome to the Idea Morning Digest. Today is the 9th of January. I like counting these days. I don't know why. It has just been that I've been counting the days since the year started, but then I think it's still a good thing and helping you all keep track on, the year. Today we're going to be talking about a lot. Gladys, we're going to be talking about things surrounding policies, most especially policies and development. So we want you all to, stay with us, don't go anywhere. And we are glad that you're starting your morning with us. So if you like things around science, you like things around development, you like things around, technology, you like things around development, policy, research, issues that concerns all of us, issues around, things that will propel our lives to the future, this is the right place to be. Of course, my name is Cynthia Bassi, and I'm never alone, and I'll never be alone on the Idea Morning Digest. Today I'm with
Gladys.
Okay, that's a very long name, but then you probably should get used to that name. But that's how we start the Idea Morning Digest today. Let's take you through the headlines we'll be bringing your way. The first headlines we'll be bringing to you this morning is that the NCC and CBN ordered 30-second refunds for failed airtime data transactions. And the second headline, federal government moves to skill up artisans for global competitiveness. And then Ivory Coast awaits new cabinet after post-election resignations. And ZAMFARA government disburses 63 million naira grants to entrepreneurs. That and more is what we'll be bringing your way this morning. And of course, on the discussion segment, we'll be talking about the Idea Universities of Interest. Yes, the second edition is out, and I know you can't wait to hear this. But let's go on this short break. We'll be right back.
Number 6, 6G networks and beyond. 5G is still rolling out worldwide, but work on 6G is already in motion. South Korea, Japan, and Finland are leading trials, with commercial deployment expected around 2030. 6G aims to use terahertz frequencies to deliver speeds up to 100 times faster than 5G and latency as low as 100 microseconds. That's fast enough to support real-time holograms, autonomous fleets, and massive IoT ecosystems. The ITU has begun setting 6G standards, while companies like Nokia and Samsung are actively developing hardware. By 2026, early 6G pilots will give us a glimpse of the post-5G world.
Okay, good to have you back. You're still watching the Idea Morning Digest, and let's go straight to the news stories we have for you this morning. The Nigerian Telecommunications and Banking Regulators, the Nigerian Communications Commission, and the Central Bank of Nigeria have introduced a new consumer protection framework mandating refunds within 30 seconds for failed airtime and data transactions where customers are debited without receiving value. Under the policy, responsibility for refunds is clearly assigned whether the failure occurs at the bank of telecom operator level, backed by enforceable service agreements. Where transactions remain pending, refunds must be completed within maximum of 24 hours. The framework also requires automatic SMS notifications confirming the success or failure of every transaction and introduces a joint real-time monitoring dashboard by both regulators. The policy is set to take effect on March 1st to 2026 this year, following final approvals and technical integration. Regulators say the move addresses one of the most common consumer complaints in Nigeria, improves transparency, and strengthens confidence in digital payments and mobile connectivity across the country. I think I really like this policy, and it's not just about airtime refunds for me. It's about shifting power, sort of, if I want to put it that way, because for Nigerians, for years rather, many Nigerians have been forced to absorb small losses daily. We've been having failed recharges, hanging transactions. You are trying to, all of those endless customer care calls. Your calling is not even connecting most times, and individually, all of us have seen our own, we have had our own experiences, and all of these things seems, trivial. So I think the collectivity here, they represent, I think, billions of naira quietly transferred from consumers to, you know, systems that face no urgency to sort of fix efficiencies. So what excites me here isn't about that 30 seconds, you know, to clarify things, is the clarity in the responsibility. They are taking, you know, that responsibility, they're taking it upon themselves to know that this is what we are supposed to do. And I think that's the real disruption, because once blame can no longer be, you know, passed between banks and telcos, you know, excuses will die. Nobody will come out and say, is this person's fault, is this person's fault? So they are charging everybody now, both telcos, both network providers, both banks. This is what we want you to do. And, you know, once excuses die, we'll have a system that is working. We'll have a system that is moving, you know, efficiently, because that is what we want. Like I always used to say, we cannot be paying for something that we are not enjoying. We have to be enjoying what we are paying for. But another uncomfortable moment here for me, if I want to look at it very well, is that I always talk about, because I always have a but. All of this enforcement, at the end of the day, we decide whether this becomes, you know, a reform or a rhetoric, something we'll just keep talking about, you know, and not do anything, any tangible thing about it. But then I just feel like it's never a problem that Nigeria has ever lacked policies. It's just how to implement those policies. You know, we have lacked consequences, how to implement those policies, follow up with them, you know, see if penalties are weak, you know, or selectively applied. All of those things have been our problem. So I want them to do better this time around. You know, if this policy works, I think it will be a very good one. It's going to shift that, you know, costs may shift quietly elsewhere, and, you know, higher service fees, all those tighter transaction limits, all of those things will not be a burden to us any longer.
The policy is actually a good one, and I believe everybody we take part in it, especially the banking aspect.
Exactly.
You can just sit and then you see an will I say a alert that you never expected, or you just saw a message that you are debited. Is it 6 naira for what at work? It's not by bringing the policy, but by putting the effort and doing what you actually say you want to do.
Okay, that brings us to the next story. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to empowering artisans to meet national and global standards, as the Industrial Training Fund launched the Skill Up Artisans Zonal Rally in Kano on Thursday. The program targets grassroots artisans across the Northwest, focusing on skill upgrade, productivity, and sustainable livelihoods. Speaking through a representative, Director General of the Industrial Training Fund, Dr. Afiz Ogun, said the initiative is designed to transform artisans into employers of labor, restore dignity to skilled work, and support economic growth in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Officials say the rally is aimed at creating awareness and encouraging artisans to key into the program, with more than 30,000 artisans already trained nationwide in 2025. And the fund is calling on community leaders and trade associations to help drive participation and ensure artisans can compete locally and globally. I say we'll be talking a lot about development today, and yes, this is it, because, you know, for years now, almost everything in Nigeria has been happening for decades. I think for decades now, Nigeria sold, you know, a single dream, if I should put it that way, or start it that way. It's either university or nothing. And it doesn't work that way for me. It doesn't work that way in real time now. When we want to do a reality check in our present days, it doesn't work that day. It's no longer university or nothing, because if you do not have skill, if you are not handy, you might just be there, and there's every likelihood that your certificate will not produce any. I'm not saying certificates do not work. I mean, most of us are using our certificates, you know, even sitting down here, most of us are using our certificates. But then, I mean, we have come to that stage where we have to begin to realize that certificates may not completely work for us. You have to have something handy. Nigerians are here battling with, you know, university or nothing. If you go to other parts of the world, you know, they are dominating manufacturing sectors, they are dominating exports, they are dominating a lot of, you know, industries, skills, vocational attitude, and all of those things. Take Germany. Take China. I mean, China is the most obvious case here. Take China. Take even Morocco in Africa. Let's come down to Africa so it won't look as if we are calling off the continent, the African continent. You know, most of them have built dignity and wealth around skilled labor. So that is what Nigeria needs to be looking towards. And I like the fact that the ITF is attempting to, you know, reset, have a cultural reset here, you know, have a mindset reset, you know, and see how we can move towards thinking about innovation this time around. And I think the story, news like this may not usually trend online. It seems like, okay, it's another reform again, it's another policy, it's another project. But I feel like we need to look at this properly and see how training does not even create competitiveness. I think the markets do, and you know, demand does as well, certification does as well, access to finance does. So when the ITF is talking about creating upskilling artisans, there should also be looking at if an artisan is globally competitive but still operates with, you know, no access to export channels, no access to, you know, insurance, no access to even financial management, the knowledge about financial management, modern tools, how to use modern tools. You don't know how to, you know, go about standardized pricing. You don't know how to standardize your product. You know, all of those things. Then I think we'll just be talking. We'll just keep going around the cycle. So I feel like this initiative is very powerful, very, very powerful, and it's a welcomed idea. But then something the government rarely admits is that Nigeria's informal sector is not a problem to. It's not a problem to eliminate. I don't think it's a problem to eliminate. I just feel like it's an accent to refine. Let us find ways to refine it. I think that's just where we need to. So when we talk about projects like this, we'll talk about upskill them in every aspect that there needs to be. You know, upskill them, empower them completely. So I think the timeline, it's okay. You know, it's an economic strategy too.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so I think we should move to the next story. Ivory Coast is awaiting the formation of a new government after Prime Minister Robert Bourgué Mambe and his cabinet resigned on Wednesday, January the 7th. The resignations followed a cabinet meeting where President Alassane Ouattara formally ended the government's mandate after last month's legislative elections. The move comes after the December 27th vote, which gave the ruling rally of Upholdists for Democracy and Peace more than 3/4 of the seats in parliament. The elections followed President Ouattara's re-election 2 months earlier for a fourth term, consolidating the ruling party's control of state institutions. Attention now turns to the appointment of a new cabinet and other key positions, including the Speaker of Parliament and a possible Vice President. Investors are watching closely as Ivory Coast, one of West Africa's strongest economies, continues to post steady growth. With it's like it's either APC or PDP, but there has to be it's either APC or PDP, but there has to be one strong one at every given point in time. After this one's shine must have elapsed, another one will. So I feel like Africa's political system is very, very predictable, especially our political transitions. I mean, let me take Nigeria. I'll come back to the country in question, but let me take Nigeria for an example. We are seeing the election is going to happen in 2027, but we are already seeing workings with, you know, campaigns and whatnot. We're already seeing this one is moving from this party to another. You know, the governor of Osun State drops, move from this party to another. Governor of Rivers State move from this party to this party. I mean, we're seeing all of those political transitions and reshuffling. But the deeper talk here is that investors are watching, you know, who resigns. They are watching whether institutions, you know, outlive personalities. They are watching. And so far, I can say that Ivory Coast keeps sending that signal. They are sending that signal of weak investor confidence, because if the political terrain is not steady, investors will not want to come into the country because there will be like which way to go, because these people are supposed leaders of the country, so they should oversee most of these things. But however, well, this is a very uncomfortable one, I want to say, because political dominance cuts both ways. Is we can say stability can quietly, slide into complacency here, because when one party controls parliament, I'm just looking, controls parliament, controls the executive, it controls the political narrative, then we'll begin to question, that kind of move will begin to question accountability. And accountability here will be optional, because it's more like we have to find ways to deliberately protect it. I don't know if I'm making sense here, but the question is not whether the economy will grow here or, because it likely will. We never can tell. There are other aspects of the economy. There are other aspects that can boost economy, but then the question is who captures that growth? That is the question here. So while marketers, applaud all of this continuity, all of this reshuffling, let's just understand that investors are watching, even citizens are watching, because it's going to affect the economy as a whole. But then, I don't know if you have anything to share.
No, just as you've said the right thing.
Okay, I think that brings us to the last news story we have here. The ZAMFARA state government has disbursed a total of 263 million naira in grants to entrepreneurs and members of the ZAMFARA Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, ZACIMA or ZACCIMA. The funds were announced at the weekend during the Chamber's annual general meeting in Gusau. ZACIMA President Dr. Hassan Buhari said 1,000 beneficiaries received 150,000 naira each, while 60 strategic entrepreneurs were given 1 million naira apiece. He described the intervention by the governor Dauda Lawa as a strong vote of confidence in the chamber as a credible platform for economic empowerment and private sector growth. I beg your pardon. The state government says the grants are part of efforts to diversify Zamfara's economy beyond raw resource extraction into value addition, manufacturing, and sustainable agribusiness. The Commissioner of Commerce, Industries and Tourism reaffirmed the administration's commitment to supporting ZACIMA as a key partner in economic planning, investment promotion, and job creation. I think this one is very important, very, very important. I like the intent here to start with. But what can you say about, giving grants to entrepreneurs?
Okay, Zamfara State giving grants to their... So giving grants to entrepreneurs is a good one, and is also to support financial enterprises and small business owners across the states. Not every state does, not everyone will do that, but as the state as whole, they see that there is a need for the people to start a small business instead of being unemployed and lazing around. They felt, okay, bringing out this business or giving this specific amount of money will go a long way to anybody who is interested. And it also will help in creating job opportunities and also boost the state economic growth also. And it will encourage the entrepreneurship and self-reliance. Instead of you not having anything to do, at least you've seen someone who will give you a capital, because some people who don't have anything, some of the Nigerians, you will see some of them saying they don't have a capital. It's always the capital to start whatsoever they have in mind. So if you have seen someone giving you this capital, you have to put your all in it. Instead, some people, you might have the opportunity of getting this grant, but still they will not make use of it. So Zamfara State has done a very good one in helping the citizens with these grants.
Okay, you've started where Gladys, because just like you've rightfully mentioned, capital is always the problem. And I think injecting capital into entrepreneurs, which Zamfara State is doing, is very, very important, especially given that the state is battling insecurity. I think this signals confidence in the people of the state with the government. At least it will kind of confidence is currency. It's not only so I think this has built that confidence around, okay, we know we are battling with insecurity, but at least we still have something to hold on to. But then I always have my but, because it's not about giving entrepreneurs money, 150,000 naira. Yes, 150,000 naira can start a small business. It can, but as they are giving money, as they are giving grants, capital or whatnot to start businesses, they should also think about how they can create a balanced ground, a safe place. Security must be looked into. Logistics, stable power too must be looked into, because it's not to start a small business and you want to start selling pure water and you don't have light to start pure water, or tomorrow they come and bomb the place or something. So the people need to be ensured or assured that they are safe as well. But I'm not condemning this effort. It's a very, very huge effort, a very huge step, and I commend the ZAMFARA state government. And also they should create that market access, that money risks becoming survivor, cash, not growth capital. So they should create access to market. Let them create ways that will ensure that money is flowing. These people understand what they are doing. I spoke about financial intelligence and financial management, knowledge about financial management the other time. It's not about empowering people. When you empower people, empower them not with capital, empower them with knowledge too, so they'll know how to go about it. Because seeing people who have been given millions of naira to start businesses, and it failed, and it didn't fail because they didn't put the money in the right places. They didn't put effort. It's because they did not, they do not have that knowledge. They do not know how to sustain a business. And if loss comes, what will I do? If gain comes in, what will I do? It's a whole lot. I just feel like there needs to be a more strategic move here, and that's more. First of all, I've seen the strategic move somehow here with ZACIMA. I think it's a good one that the government is collaborating with chambers of commerce and not all of these charity platforms or NGOs. They're collaborating with the chambers of commerce. So I think that's very, very good. That's why I say I commend this effort very well. They just have to use it properly, so that they can be able to track performances of these people, enforce accountability, capital will be recycled, there'll be productivity, everybody will be productive. And my greatest concern, like I started off mentioning and I didn't continue, is about sustainability. We just, in as much as they are, giving out these funds, they should be able to track that sustainability. Like I said, go back, check them, carry follow-ups. Yes, there should be follow-ups. If, they should be mentored regularly, because if what do they call, the beneficiaries are not tracked, they are not mentored, or integrated into the value chains properly, or have sound education or understanding about the value chain, I just think this will become those one-off initiatives and projects that will just look good on cameras, on press releases and whatnot, and then at the end of the day you go back to having more people in poverty, more people without jobs, more people roaming around the street. Even the insecurity we are battling with, and the criminality anomalies in the society we are trying to do away with, will return, because the people will be left with no choice, but it will be their only alternative. But I just feel like this is the first layer of a revolving enterprise support system. So I feel like this is good, and ZAMFARA is quietly doing something very huge. Yes, it's quietly doing something very huge. But that's how much we can take on the news review segment of the Idea Morning Digest. Share your comments with us. Share what you think about the news stories we've brought your way. What do you think, about the stories? What do you want to add? What do you want to share with us? Let's get your opinions. Let's get your thoughts. Share them with us at our social media platforms at Idea TV, or via email at Idea TV Limited. But then we have to go on this short break, and we'll be right back with the discussion segment. You want to stay tuned for this. Don't go anywhere.
Quantum computing. Quantum computing is still in its infancy, but has the potential to revolutionize industries that require massive computational power. Unlike traditional computers, quantum computers use quantum bits, or qubits, which can process a vast number of possibilities simultaneously. This makes quantum computing particularly valuable for solving complex problems in drug discovery, cryptography, and optimization. However, the technology is still experimental, and practical applications are limited by issues like error rates and stability. Despite this, quantum computing is attracting massive investments from companies like Google and IBM, and the market could reach $64.98 billion by 2030. Industry cloud platforms. Industry cloud platforms offer tailored solutions for specific industries such as healthcare, finance, and manufacturing. These platforms provide specialized tools to meet regulatory compliance requirements while boosting operational efficiency. For example, healthcare cloud platforms streamline patient data management and support care coordination. However, the challenge lies in ensuring data security and interoperability between platforms. The market for industry cloud platforms is expected to reach $83 billion by 2025. Augmented Connected Workforce. The Augmented Connected Workforce leverages remote collaboration tools, AI.
Welcome back to the Idea Morning Digest, and this is the discussion segment. And yes, I told you to stay tuned and don't go anywhere, and we are back. You would love this one because Idea TV has released the second edition of Idea Universities of Interest, and I'm so excited about this because I like how consistent we have been going with this, and we have been taking this. We released the first edition of Idea Universities of Interest, and we spotlight universities doing wonders in Africa, universities creating impact in Africa. We're not just talking about theoretical base now, we're talking about practical. We're talking about impact. We're talking about, that's, how will I put it? We're talking about modern centers, innovation hubs. That's what we are talking about. And this time around, we did it again. We are spotlighting the Pan-African University. Yes, the Pan-African University, and the Pan-African University is more like, how will I put it, is a culmination of, continental initiatives. It's bringing all of those ideas of the African Union Commission together and, to revitalize higher education and research in Africa. And I think that's a good one. And it is designed to exemplify excellence. And we are spotlighting that university today. And what's most interesting about the Pan-African University is that it's spread its wings to West Africa, to North Africa, to Central Africa, and to East Africa. They have a branch in the University of Ibadan. There is a department there, I think the University of Life Sciences, if I'm not mistaken. They have two, not just one in Central Africa, that's in Cameroon, the Yaoundé 2 University, and Buea University. And we also have Clemson University in Nigeria, that's in North Africa. And also the Kenyatta Jomoto University, that's in Kenya. So I see what the African Union has done with this just to advance or support Africa's development, and that's very good. So we are asking today, so beyond this spotlighting these universities, we're asking so many questions. We're asking pertinent questions. Are our universities merely producing graduates, or are they producing solutions? African universities are, undergoing that pressure to deliver more than degrees. Government, industries, and young Africans now demand solutions. We want new technologies, new policies, businesses, and innovations that respond to climate change, to health challenges, to unemployment, to food security, and of course to governance. So while institutions like the Pan-African University, or simply put PAU, and its host universities show what is possible through focused research and continental collaborations, many African universities still face structural barriers, and we cannot lie. So they're facing issues like limited funding, outdated infrastructure, brain drain, and weak university industry linkages continue to slow progress as well. At the same time, Africa's youthful population is expanding. Our digital ecosystem is expanding as well, and policy frameworks like the African Union's Agenda 2023 or 2063, I beg your pardon, present, a a real opportunity. And the real question is whether African universities can move fast enough and boldly enough to convert knowledge into development at scale. Let's see the video of the universities we are, spotlighting, of the Pan-African University. Yes, and it's the wings it has spread.
At the University of Clemson, science is directed towards sustainability and resilience.
Follow good behavior and discipline. Second, your academic qualifications are of paramount importance. And third, this is a highly specialized theoretical field within dentistry, which inherently demands exceptional precision and an incredibly delicate touch. With all this in mind, I sincerely wish you immense success and truly hope that you will consider joining us in this esteemed college and pursuing this rewarding field of study.
Established as a university in 1989, Clemson has grown to house over 48,000 students and more than 82 research laboratories.
Here, I am speaking about myself, Simon Joshiwalia. I am currently a dedicated student studying at the esteemed United School of Medicine, specifically within the highly regarded Governorate's School program. In this incredibly vital and challenging field, you will inevitably encounter numerous patients or individuals who are suffering from various illnesses and ailments, whom you will be entrusted to diagnose, treat, and care for with utmost diligence and compassion. This indeed is a profoundly important and fundamental aspect of this noble and demanding profession. After diligently submitting your comprehensive graduation thesis, which represents years of hard work and dedication, and successfully obtaining your highly coveted Doctor of Dental Medicine degree, a significant academic achievement, you will then be presented with the invaluable opportunity to enter the professional world. This includes the possibility of going to the public market, which encompasses private practice or working in various hospitals, including those prestigious institutions that are directly affiliated with the Ministry of Health, providing essential healthcare services to the community. Or you can open your own clinics or private practices. You will also have the opportunity to pursue higher studies. Most of the graduates voted, and then imagine one of the achievements that brings us joy here in Algeria. In the end, I wish you all the best of luck in your chosen specialties. May God grant you success and guide your decisions.
The university journey is a long one. It requires work and participation to achieve your noble aspirations and reach your desired status. This journey is divided into two stages. The first stage is the undergraduate stage, as we call it, and the second stage is the postgraduate stage. We do not call them by any other names. The postgraduate stage, as we say, is divided into two phases. The first is the PCRM, which stands for the Medical Studies Certificate. The university journey is a long one. It requires work and participation to achieve your noble aspirations and reach your desired status. This journey is divided into two stages. The first stage is the undergraduate stage, as we call it, and the second stage is the postgraduate stage. We do not call them by any other names. The postgraduate stage, as we say, is divided into two phases. The first is the PCRM, which stands for the Medical Studies Certificate.
As host of the Pan-African University Institute for Water and Energy Sciences, it is shaping a new generation of African specialists equipped to manage the continent's most pressing resources: water, energy, and climate. Tlemcen's strong engagement in Erasmus Plus and Intra-Africa programs, along with its active participation in regional and global networks, positions it as a leader in scientific collaboration. Here, innovation addresses not only future challenges, but also urgent needs of the present.
Okay, Gladys, we've just previewed the video, and when we talk about universities and innovation, we are not talking about buildings, we are not talking about rankings, we are not talking about graduation ceremonies. We are asking questions, we are talking about relevance. And where does that relevance lie? That relevance is it's more like a brutal test of it doesn't care how old an institution is, how new an institution is, or how many professors it has. It's just asking questions of, it's asking that question of what problem have this university solved? What problem can this university solve? What problem has this university solved this year? And we are seeing that with the Pan-African University. That is what the Pan-African University have been, doing, especially given the fact that it has so many specialized institutes across different regions, so it can cater for different needs in Africa. You get, like it has, like I said, it has the one in JKUT, in JKUAT, I hope I'm getting that correctly, in Kenya, catering for another one need, the one in Nigeria at the University of Ibadan, catering for another need. But then, like I said before, what we are talking today is about how African universities can move to innovation, how we can be centers of development, how we can be innovation hub. But we cannot do these things without, having proper funding, having proper research grants, having proper, R&D centers. And we have that research gap. We cannot lie that we do not have that research gap, because when we talk about the gap between research and impact, it's not accidental. And I always say these things. It goes back to, the structure. It's cultural as well. So many African universities, were designed during all of those colonial periods and those early post-independent periods, not to, just be to equip them to stand on their own, but more like to say to satisfy promotional criteria. To, it's not to, they did not create them to, be that centers of innovation. They created them more like, to solve, not to solve urgent needs, if I should go back to that, not to solve urgent social needs, but they just created them like, it's part of an indirect rule. It's part of a way that they can just connect to Africa, create that link. Because, yes, because when we check our DNA, all of these things still lingers. Yes, it still lingers. So I think research is often done to, what most of these African universities are doing, especially with the Pan-African University. We want to see how research will provide that satisfaction we want, provide our needs, provide that solutions we want, provide homegrown innovation, homegrown ideas that will change Africa for good. We don't want to just see us paper piling up. You are holding conferences, you are holding meetings here and there, but we want communities that will be touched. We want lives that will be impacted, and that is what the University of the Pan-African University, is set out to do. The African Union Commission came and said, no, we have to do these things. It was approved in 2010. We have to do this thing. This is what we need to do for Africa, by Africa. And it's very, very interesting that it is Africans that stood up and said, we want to do this for Africa. Let it be by Africans as well. And I think that's the very important. But I always have my unpopular opinions, and then you people will laugh. But then, because not every academic idea deserves to become a product. That's another thing. So at the same time, I feel like too many useful ideas die because no one inside the university is trained, especially with that ground knowledge of, research and development. And these are the things we want in Africa, because if we lack in this aspect, then even if we have 1 million universities that is homegrown, we would have nothing yield from it. So we want something to come out of Africa. We want to create our own solutions for ourselves. I mean, for so long we have been dependent, and we are tired of depending on others. We want to be self-reliant. We want to do things beyond publication. We want to do things that will meet our needs, and the responsibility here is shared. We are talking of university leadership, we are talking of policy makers, we are talking of funding bodies. We are not just talking of these universities, because these universities will not fund themselves. Students in these universities will not just stand up and begin to, fund it themselves. Or if you have an idea, you need something to propel it. You need a thriving ground. And when a thriving ground like the Pan-African University has been created, what do you need to move it forward? What do you need to, fill that research gap? Funding, you need all of those things. We have to fund. Africa needs to begin to look at how they can fund aggressively. fund its own research aggressively, because many universities have not earned that trust, showing measurable returns and should I say public investment. And these are the things we need. So I just feel like until Africans begin to realize that, you know, government needs to be involved, banks, private institutions, you know, they begin to see universities as research, you know, see universities research rather as economic infrastructure, then I don't know where we are going to, because we have to understand that all of these things are not charity. These are things that we must do. It's a necessity. We should take education, we should take all of these things as infrastructure, so we can begin to fund it rather, so all of this dependence culture will not continue. Do you have anything to say?
And the funding part of it, it's mine to it too, because they cannot do it on their own. The universities, they also need hands to make it, to build it up.
Very important. Take the one of the institutions of the Pan-African University, like the University of IVORY in Cameroon. We've seen what it's doing with its health innovation. It's transforming health innovation completely, especially with its drug discovery capacity. You know, all of these things highlight the importance of, you know, moving research beyond journals, moving research into real-time products, services, you know, and policies that directly improve life. So that is what I like about, you know, Africans coming to say we have to do something, you know, for Africa. And then talking about that university industry disconnect, because we see many industries operate without university input, while some other universities conduct research with little industry relevance. And then we begin to ask questions like, how can structured partnership now change this dynamic? And from where I sit, I feel like this disconnect is almost very tragic, because industries complain that graduates are not employable, yet you'll be seeing that those same industries, they really sit with universities to, you know, define skills that are needed, define skills that will meet demand and supply, and then we'll come out and say we do not have how did former president, the late President Buhari say, lazy Nigerian youth. I mean, all of those things will come out, but we do not have ready grounds. We do not have that those facilities to enable people to. That's why I'll still go back to making references to all of these digital financial systems that young people have created, money points, all of these things. Young people created them. How did they create them if they do not have the knowledge? We have the knowledge, we have the potential, but we do not have the technical know-how. Some of us do not even have the knowledge, or we have not buttressed the knowledge. We have not, you know, sort of refine that knowledge. So we need all of these systems. We've seen universities complain that industry doesn't, you know, value research. A lot of universities have complained that industry doesn't value research. Yet we'll see many academics will still have. We'll see them that we'll still hear from many academics that they have never stepped into factories before. Yes, they have never stepped into hospital systems or startup environments. And the academics. I mean, I went to a school. By the time we were supposed to do, I studied English language, and by the time we were supposed to do a practical in a lab, a communications lab, nothing was working, and it was supposed to be for 2 weeks. Imagine those 2 weeks. We had to go back to theory. And in that theory, 2 lecturers were changed. Like the first one came, and then they said, oh, this one is going to do something else. Another one came with another idea. No practical, no nothing. And then at the end of the day, you blame it on the students. You blame the incompetence on the student. I mean, we need to see how we can, you know, build a structure that you get. Build a structure that we enable students to come out and begin to, should I use the word, vomit real-time solutions. I just feel like some industries actually benefit from weak universities. Maybe. I guess that could be the reason, because it keeps wages low. What will I say? You don't want, yes, some people do not, some people will tell you, some employers will tell you they don't want people that they can pay high. If you come and you speak some sort of English and you seem like something is coming out of your head, like, this one went to school very well, I can't pay this one. So maybe some industries are benefiting from these weak university systems. Yes, I always have an unpopular opinion, and this is my unpopular opinion. That's why we do not think of investing in universities, investing in research, investing in our young people, investing in our potential. I just feel we should begin to rethink partnership as well. It's very important that we begin to rethink partnership as well. If we want to, if we want to move forward, we should begin to rethink partnership. Industries should begin to think. Companies, NGOs and whatnot should begin to think, how are we going to fund, chairs? How are we going to, let's begin to think of co-owning patents too. Let's begin to think of mentoring students, not just as mentee-mentor, but mentor student that will come out, and when they stand tomorrow, you say, I mentored that person. Mentor student that will be churning out real-time solutions. That is what we want, because all of these things, I don't know, they are very, very, they do not sound nice. The fact that Africa do not still prioritize research. But we like I said before, we commend what the PAU is doing, but we need more. We need more. I'm talking about innovation and those traditional academia. We're asking questions. African universities, still too focused on certificates and publications, at the expense of entrepreneurship, patents, and problem solving. Because going back to the news review, we're talking about ZAMFARA, what ZAMFARA state is doing for, entrepreneurs. And these are the kind of things we want to see. And I mentioned that, we are still, in Africa, it's still almost like we are we're still glorifying certificates more than handiworks, more than what you can, more than skills, more than what you can use your hands for. And this is where we must be honest with ourselves. We must be very honest with ourselves as Africans, and we should have it at the back of our mind that certificates alone will not build Africa. Who brought this? Well, certificates, the days of our forefathers, they were using their hands to till the ground, and they were feeding, and they were still doing trade by barter. You go to the farm, you farm cocoyam, you farm plantain, you trade it. People were doing it. They were carving. They were carving the drums that they were beating then. They were carving them with their hands. All of this. They were making beads. They were making clothes. All of these things with their hands. There were no certificates then. At all. There were no certificates then.
And they were doing well.
Exactly, and they were doing well. So I think publications alone, all of these, certificates and whatnot, they will not fix Africa. They will not fix power supply. They will not fix our healthcare centers. They will not fix unemployment. They will not fix food insecurity in Nigeria. They will not fix our growing population. We have a growing population. Nigeria is over 200 million. That over 200 million, you see how we put it, is loosely put, over 200 million. Maybe we are even 1,000 million. I don't know at this point in time, but we are over 200 million. And all of these certificates and whatnot will not fix, it will not fix our society. It will not fix our growing population. And we are seeing that many African universities still are still threatened by, all of those entrepreneurship and extracurricular, vocational skills, something students do after graduation. I'm not ruling out certification, I'm not ruling out formal education completely, but I'm just saying it should be backed up by something. Even in institutions, in universities, in tertiary, some of these things can be included, some of these courses can be included. I did entrepreneurship, but I'm not proud of it as an elective course because I was not taught. It was just 1 week come and fulfill all righteousness, exactly. And then what is your group going to do? We are going to make zobo. What is your group going to do? We are going to knit handkerchief and all of those things. What are we doing with those knowledge right now? What are we doing with those knowledge? And these are the things. But still, at that time when I was in school, I can remember the vice chancellor then brought about this initiative that all students must register a business name. So I think that was the most brilliant initiative he brought about, because some students already have handworks. Some students already have, skills, and some people do not have money to, go and register for their business. So he said, entrepreneurship became a compulsory course for all departments, all faculties. And after that, you must, before upon graduation, in short, when you are doing your last signings and whatnot, you must present your CAC. So I think that is good. These are some of the things. This is just an example, and these are some of the things universities should be, emulating. And we've seen that at the University of Ibadan, JKUAT. They are increasingly positioning themselves as innovation hubs. They are doing a lot. They are supporting rather applied research. They are supporting entrepreneurship centers. They are supporting industry partnerships, and they're bringing that shift, more like that shift from classroom learning to, like I said, solution-driven research. And it is very critical for Africa's development. It is very, very critical for Africa's development. And if we want to talk about human capital and brain drain, Gladys, let me even ask you, how do African universities retain top talent and, ensure that skilled graduates and research contribute locally rather than, abroad? Because brain drain is often framed as the betrayer, but I don't see it that way. Yes, I see it as information sharing. I see it as knowledge sharing, because people leave because a system is not working. What do you have to say about this before I go further?
Okay, talking about human capital and brain drain is a relationship skills between countries, and the knowledge, the skills, the experience, and the creativity possessed by people is built through the education, research, and health professional development too. Brain drain and the impact of it impacts the loss of investment and education, the shortage of skills professionals in skills sectors, and slower innovation and development. Let's say addressing this issue, it will improve working and research conditions locally, and offering competitiveness between two sectors. And will I say it will encourage the brain circulation too, where you see professionals contribute through so many aspects, collaborating, return programs, and remote engagement. So the brain, the human capital and the brain drain in our universities today, we like say the African has retained a top talent and ensures that skills graduates and research.
Are you sure we have been retaining top? I mean, as at last 2 years, in the health sector, they've been complaining about massive brain drain. Yes, and the JAPA syndrome. They've been it's heavy there. It's hitting the healthcare system. It's hitting the healthcare landscape more than any other aspect of our society. And I just feel like it's Africa has not yet create that functioning, reliable research grounds for many people to want to stay back. Funding is low, intellectual freedom is almost not there, the respect for merit is not really there. It's not coming from how much work you have put. Your intellectual capacity is coming from, if you can just, like I said the other time, we are rewarding how will I say it? How will I say it? We are rewarding goods with results, or how do I want to even put it? But then you get. So I think we need to think of how we can build our structure. If not, I don't think anytime soon we'll solve this case of people wanting to live for greener pastures or better knowledge, or a place where their knowledge or their intellectual acuity will be valued. So I think these are some of the reasons why most people are leaving. And Africa has not built that reason for, its mind is great minds to want to stay or want to even return. You will see that if we get our structure right, even those that have left, we want to return. You see them, they'll start returning. So I think retention is not just about salary we are talking about here. I know in the healthcare landscape, they've been complaining about payments and whatnot, salary arrears and whatnot not being met. But it's not just about that. As that is met as well, it's also about purpose and dignity. And that is what we are lacking here. And the ability to, you know, do meaningful work without fighting bureaucracy every day. We just need a working system. Everything, all the blame goes back to our system. We just need a working system. And, you know, our time is fast spent, Gladys. We've talked about the PAU and what it is doing with all of the institutions it has stationed in different universities in West Africa, in Nigeria, the University of Ibadan, you know, in Cameroon with the Yaoundé 2 University, Buea and the Buea University, and that's in. I feel like this conversation continues. Yes,
sure,
we must change for African universities to, you know, truly power innovation and development, and ask who must take responsibility for making it happen. So we invite you to join this conversation. Follow us on Idea TV on all our social media platforms, and don't forget that the Idea University of Interest second edition is out for download. And I tell you, I always bring good news. It's free. It is free for you to download. You can download it, read it, share it with your friends, you know, share your ideas about it. What do you think about the bulletin? What do you think we can improve on? Or, you know, share your thoughts, or even tell us which universities you believe are making real impact, or which ones should do more. You can also send us your nominations, your insights and partnership interests via email at ideatvlimited@gmail.com or admin@ideatv.live. This is where we draw the curtains for today. My name is Cynthia Basin, and I have been with the longest name.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, see you next time.
Bye.